We're going to take a look at the ThinkPad X260 in this video, the 14-inch ThinkPad Classic from Lenovo. This is the mobile warrior's go-to device with the great keyboard. It's got the hot swappable battery. This version here, matte screen and only a 1366 by 768 resolution. I'm going to take a close-up look at it. We're going to go through some of our lab test results on screen, on battery life, noise, heat, and performance. We've got a Core i5 inside here. If you take a look at the specs, they're on the screen. The 6200 up to, sorry, I'm not sure what the turbo speed on that is, but 2.3 gigahertz is the nominal speed. 4 gigs of RAM. 12.5-inch screen. We've got a 500 terabyte SSD inside. I'll give you some details on the speed of that. And of course, we've got ports. Let's take a quick look at them. So on this side here, we have Ethernet. We have, this is SIM card module here, SD card, and the USB port there. On the other side, we have two USB 3s, we have a display port, we have an HDMI, we also have the Lenovo power adapter there. So fairly standard set of ports. On the bottom of the device we have got the docking connector there, so you can actually put it into standard Lenovo docks. It hasn't got the docking port on the side. What it does have here at the front on the top is a smart card reader, so that's useful for security, and it's known as an Ultrabook. So Ultrabook is a brand that's used obviously today, 2016, but it's used mainly for business notebooks now. It's a brand that businesses seem to have liked, so it's gone out of the consumer space, but it's still in the business space now. Fingerprint reader on the front. We've got the classic ThinkPad layout, lovely keyboard. It's backlit as well. Let's just bring that backlight in, and we've got the nice Silky touchpad, the touch pointer, and physical mouse buttons at the top of the touchpad. No physical buttons at the bottom of the touchpad there. Screen goes all the way back to this angle, so a really nice, you've got that layback mode there possible, and it's not a 360-degree rotating device though. This model we got here is 1.46 kilos and 1,500 euros. So it's a fairly expensive device, but it's built well. There's a nice casing, nice strong hinges. There's no flappiness on that, albeit small, 12.5-inch screen. 1.5 kilos is a little bit heavy for a 12.5-inch laptop, but when you think about the hot swap battery, I wonder if I can do that for you now. It's on. I'm going to try and take the battery out from the back. It's actually a little bit difficult to do it in one go. I'm just going to pull the battery off, and it's still on. And you have a small battery that basically allows you to have sort of 10-15 minutes of battery life before you put the new one in, so that hot swap can take place without you turning the device off. So that's a really nice feature of the ThinkPad. Forgot to mention the fingerprint reader on the bottom right there. Apologies, at the top of the video I mentioned 500 gig SSD. It is a hybrid SSD, so it's a spinning hard drive with an SSD cache, which means the measurements on the Crystal Bar test, the disk speed measurements aren't that high. 107.9 is the maximum sequential read, and 0.497 on a read 4K. 3.136 on the write 4K. Not too bad, but it's still down in that very low level. Which can affect things like zip unloads, Windows Defender in the background, indexing, updates, all those sort of small file activities can slow those processes down. If we go back to the PC Mark 7 score, then you'll see a fairly low score of 3777. It's not too bad, but it is below some of the competitors. And if you look at the ThinkPad X250 with an SSD, 22% more even with the previous generation Broadwell CPU inside. The Skylake 6200U has the Intel Graphics HD 520 inside, and here you can see the score for the ThinkPad X260, 1332 in the 3D Mark 11 score there. Dell XPS 13 above it, coming in at 1558. Now let's talk about some thermals, some heat later on in this video, and it's possible there that throttling is occurring. I'm just going to run forward to the gaming test there. You can get early Tomb Raider running there, 43.8 frames per second. This is a low settings PC gaming setup. Don't expect anything more than older games at low settings to work. You certainly won't be able to run Curse of the Tomb Raider with the latest on the Tomb Raider series on this in any sort of setup. There you go. There's an example of 3 games at low settings that you can take with you on the road. Tomb Raider, BioShock Infinite, and Battlefield 4. So the real giveaway for this performance issue that we saw on that graphics test is that it is throttling under load, and not a great amount of load either. In our temperature measurement tests, we saw it throttle back to 1.4 gigahertz as soon as the CPU reaches 85 degrees, which is quite a lot. So the idea really is to keep this quiet and cool, and that's how Lenovo have tuned this device. This is not going to be the highest performing laptop on the market at this 12.5 inch size with this U-series Skylake inside. On the battery life, we have a total of 46 watt-hour battery in this. That is a reasonable capacity for a device of this size, maybe not this weight. For example, the Surface Pro 4 tablet gets around 40 watt-hours in a device that's about 30% lighter. Those are the battery life run times. Let's look at Wi-Fi surfing, 6 hours 36 minutes. That's reasonable, and don't forget you can get a bigger capacity battery for this, and you can hot swap batteries, so you only need to take a charged second battery with you to get more out of the Lenovo ThinkPad X260. I'm going to go straight on to the pros and cons. We talk about the keyboard every time we talk about a ThinkPad, and here it is again as a pro. It's a great keyboard. Hot swap battery, of course, just mentioned that. Great construction and the security features on this build, including the card reader. Build quality issues, well, there is one little part along the side here which doesn't seem to be put together very well. You can actually hear that's my finger going across it. So that you'll need to read a little bit more detail about that in the full review, but there are 1 or 2 little issues there on casing quality. There's no maintenance hatches, so you need to be taking the complete back off this to access anything from the inside. And there's only single channel memory inside. Remember, this one's got the 4 gigs of RAM. So the ThinkPad, of course, it's a strong, sturdy, reliable device. The screen quality is good if the brightness isn't too high. They've got that lovely keyboard and mouse setup, and really a great working device. This is, as we said in our review, at the top of the review on the website, a typist, a sort of mini typewriter. You can really bash away at this for a very long time. In fact, in our battery life test on idle, 13 hours and 15 minutes. You could actually use this as a typewriter for well over 10 hours in one go. 86% is the score. Nino Ricchizzi is our score, reviewer on this one. And if you're interested in any particular aspects and how we scored particular aspects of the device, for example, keyboard, 91.5%. And if we look to games performance, only 79% because of the throttling. But if games performance is not interesting for you, then take a look at that breakdown of the scores, and you'll probably find more details that match your personal requirements. So that's a quick run through of our full review, giving you the details on the ThinkPad X260. I like it, but I would like to have the option to have more power from that CPU. They're not delivering what it should. I'd like to have an option to go to high performance mode and have it heat up and get noisier if I wanted to. And that's the only thing I really don't like about it. The keyboard is fantastic, the screen bright enough for me, and I do love the color accuracy and the really nice whites on that screen. That's a really lovely working screen and keyboard there. Could do without the smart card reader, but the ports really quite nice on this. ThinkPad X260 retails for around 1,500. We saw street prices around 1,350 euros in Europe. And don't forget, it's a 1.5 kilo device. There are lighter Ultrabooks out there, but maybe not ones that are as sturdy and strong as this ThinkPad X260. Thanks for tuning into the video. That was the Lenovo X260 ThinkPad, but don't forget to subscribe because we've got a bunch of other stuff coming up. And next up will be another Lenovo, the IdeaPad 500S, so an ultrabooky-like 13-inch, I believe that is. Might even be a 12.5. We'll have a look. That's coming up. Plus, there's an Asus ROG device there and an Acer. Oh yeah, just came in a Nitro Black Edition. V15 Nitro Black Edition. It'll be interesting to test that. Maybe do a little bit of gaming. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next Notebook Check Tech Review.